They don't talk about them. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House. Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. But you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 15.
We'll take care of it.
That new executive order from the president aimed at making it easier for cities and states across the country to remove homeless people from the streets. We want to get straight to that language of the order from the White House so you can see a little bit of it for yourself. It says it is targeted at removing, quote, vagrant individuals from our streets and redirects federal funds towards programs that tackle substance abuse. This order is seeking to shift federal grant funding to states and cities that enforce prohibitions on urban camping, enforce prohibitions on drug use, and adopt policies allowing people with serious mental illnesses or substance abuse disorders to be forced into treatment. The governor responding to Trump's new executive order, saying it is more focused on creating distracting headlines than producing a positive impact. About a year ago, Newsom issued an order encouraging cities in the state to dismantle homeless encampments, recently criticizing California cities and counties for not doing enough on this issue.
I'm not interested in funding failure anymore. I'm not. I won't. Time to do your job. People are dying on their watch. Dying on their watch. Look at these encampments. They're a disgrace. They've been there years and years and years and years. I've heard that same rhetoric for years. People are dying.
So, Professor, I want to get your take on another story, and that's the Epstein files. And it looks like the administration is taking this very serious. When you send the deputy attorney general to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, I think they want full control of this. This is what her brother is saying in a statement. She would be putting before a court material new evidence that was not available to the defense at her 2021 trial, which would have had a significant impact on its outcome. Is she going to get something in return? I mean, there's really no motivation to talk with the feds unless she gets some type of deal. What could that deal be?
Right, Lawrence, that's really the key question here. There is a thing called a 5K 1.1 motion that the Justice Department can file for cooperation to reduce a sentence. That's usually when someone is a key witness in the prosecution of a third party. The defense can also go to a court and ask for a reduction based on new evidence, but we haven't seen that. She was convicted and given 20 years. And so the question is, if there's something there, why haven't they revealed it so far? The third possibility is a commutation, more likely than a pardon, from the president maybe at the end of his term, if she is a highly cooperative witness. So all of those are possibilities for Maxwell. The question is what she has. I was surprised in speaking with a member of the legal defense team a couple days ago when they said the reports that she had been previously interviewed by federal and state prosecutors, investigators, was not true.
What?
That she had never been interviewed. Yes, and despite all of these past investigations in this scandal, I was really taken aback by that. So if that's true, she could be an untapped source of new information. The question is, what is that information? Is it just salacious, or is it something more that would reveal criminal conduct?
Jonathan, this is new information for me, and so forgive me, but how do you prosecute someone without doing an interview? I mean, that's like investigative procedure 101.
Well, they're saying that she had interaction, no doubt, in her own prosecution, But when I asked whether she had sat down with investigators, and there were so many investigations on a state and federal level, and I said, are you saying that she was never called forth to give information either in the state or federal systems? And they said no, that she has largely been left untouched by these past investigations. So the question is, what does she still have? And also, why didn't she reveal it before? She had every motivation in the world, if she could trade something, to do so before she was sentenced to 20 years.
Wow. So part 2 is going to happen today. The Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is going to go back to interview her. Now, he said after this interview, he'll decide if they are going to come to the public with the findings of that.
Okay, that's some crazy information to hear right there, because that's something that was kind of in the back of my mind when knowing and understanding that she was in prison. And I was always wondering in the back of my mind, you know, what kind of questions did they ask her, and how did the trial go before she even got put in prison? Like, what kind of questions were asked of her? What did she answer? What did she not answer? And now come to find out, there are certain procedures that weren't even done. She was, I mean, from what I just heard, it sounded like they knew that she was the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, or partner of some sort, business partner, trying to do this illegal, disgusting thing on an island. And they just threw her ass in jail for 20 years and said, basically, you're done. Keep your mouth shut. We're not going to have you speak. That's kind of how I'm getting this situation. And now it's coming to the point where she has something to say. And like they said, why is she now wanting to say something now? And my belief is that that corruption party is the one that placed her in prison to keep her quiet, to have her shut up and not expose these other members in the corruption party. And, you know, this is very tricky because we do not want her to off herself or mysteriously die in some way where we're not able to get any type of evidence, new evidence, existing evidence that was just half of the truth and not the full truth. I mean, these are things that are very important to the American people. The main goal is to get this corruption out of government. The corruption party that I'm calling, these individuals in our government are the ones that need to be tackled. And I'm hoping that the Trump administration is really nailing down on this and doing some undercover work for the American people, for our sake. That way we can be, and you know what? That may be another reason why certain things aren't being told to the American people. Is, you know, talking about the UFOs, certain different types of files that weren't released years ago and now they're slowly coming out, but things are being redacted and we're not getting the full truth. Well, I believe that the corruption party is holding some of these things back intentionally, and it's making the Trump administration look bad right now. And I believe they didn't know what they were really stepping into. Trump's first administration, he didn't even know he was going to win. And that's why he was thrown into the government and was already around certain corrupted people and kind of molded him to do certain things during his first term. And then Biden stepped in and then did his destroying of the country. And this go around, Trump's like, no, this is getting out of hand. I tried to do something the first term, it wasn't enough. Biden came in, made things even worse. Now I got to come back with the full plan of what I need to do to help the American people and to help my future generation, my kids and their kids. So this is getting pretty crazy with this Epstein stuff. I thought there was another video
coming in, some calling it cryptic, from the Deputy Director for the FBI, Dan Bongino. I do want to read it to you in full. This is just a portion of it here. He says, during my tenure here as the Deputy Director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It's a priority for us, but What I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. We are going to conduct these righteous and proper investigations by the book and in accordance with the law. We are going to get the answers we all deserve. As with any investigation, I cannot predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest and dignified effort at truth, not my truth or your truth, but the truth. God bless America and all those who defend her. Respectfully, Dan. Again, Dan Bongino posting that, but not specifying exactly what he is referring to. Reports did circulate of a recent disagreement between Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Epstein files, that making headlines very recently here.
And see, that's another thing I was talking about, guys, is that, you know, people like Dan Bongino, especially him, Kash Patel, these two guys, they were emphasizing like crazy before they got elected to their positions by Donald Trump, or appointed, I should say. And these guys were honing in on seeking the truth of why certain things weren't exposed to the American people these past decades. And, you know, because they got appointed, they're like, okay, we're gonna get this done for you guys, the American people. We're getting this done for you guys. We're gonna take care of it. And then once they got into their office and they settled in, they're like, oh, this is a big mess. I'm predicting they're looking at a huge wall full of just tax everywhere with faceless people, with people's faces, and they're trying to connect the dots to certain things that have happened in the past. And it's probably the corruption board of so many people that are rich, the elites that they call, that are involved in this. And like I mentioned in my other videos, this is something that could really destroy the system of government that we have in this country. And is that something the president and his administration is willing to risk by releasing these names of people that are still in power, that hold money to help keep this country circulating? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. This may sound like a little bit of a conspiracy, but I mean, slowly but surely, a lot of these puzzle pieces are getting put together so we can see the big picture. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody.